Afternoon. How are we all doing? Where am I? There I am. Hello. How is everybody doing? What an incredibly exciting day again today's been, hey? Another load of sideways action. Everybody making lots of money. Still going from 0 to minus 1.5 drawdown. Still not banked anything. It's like pulling teeth. It really is. It's like pulling teeth. In fact, that'd be more fun, wouldn't it? Pulling someone's teeth out. If you're a sadist like that, but I'm not. Anyway, afternoon, Martin, Peter, JC, Sarah, Baggy, Alex, Michael, Jimmy, Day Trader FX. How you doing? Monkey, Emac, Fletch. So, yeah, haven't banked anything because the market hasn't gone anywhere. Had an opportunity to bank some on the pound US dollar again today. I covered this in the live room this morning. I said, missed the opportunity to bank that there. So, thought about it again there. So, thought about it again this morning. Just impossible. I hate the summer. It's just a nightmare. Scalping, however. Fortune. Afternoon, Marco. Francisco, it's time. David, Evil, how are we doing? So the DAX this morning, the ORB this morning was lovely. So ORB long did very nice push. I took that off there. So we looked at this morning, the DAX, and I said I would get out at that high, which is the gap fill. So I did, and we did, and then I did everything I said I was going to do this morning, which was basically get out of the hedge when the market came back down at break even and bank $1,500. It's banking something. So looking for the gap fill, which was what I was looking for initially on the break today, which we didn't get. So pretty good morning on the DAX overall. So we'll see how we get on with the US. See if we can replicate that in the US session. Yes. So ADRs, nothing's moving, no ADRs. Weeklies, nothing's moving, no weeklies. Monthlies, nothing's moving, no monthlies. RSIs, we've got one. Euro Swiss, it's moved up. It nearly hit ADR as well. Look at that, nearly triggered it, missed it by 1 pip. But on this is the RSI 14. We've got a 70 on the RSI 14. This is the 21. So if we switch over to the 14, select it. So we've got an extension on the RSI 14 for a short, which is previous day's high resistance in the propulsion gap. Looks like a lovely short. There you go. There's your analysis done. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good day. That's it. So there's nothing else to analyze. I'm not going to go through every pair again. I did it all this morning. So if you want an analysis of every pair, I went through this morning in the live room looking for support resistance bounce plays on every single pair. So there's no point in me doing that again this afternoon because I did it all this morning. If you want to have a look for some setups on support resistance bounces, I went through everything this morning. So go and watch this morning's replay on YouTube. I did set up some of those bounce plays. None of them have gone anywhere. So I'm in 5 positions for bounce plays. They're not going anywhere. The only way to make money at the moment is scalping indices. That's literally the only thing you're going to make money on. It's the only thing that's moving enough to actually bank any cash. So let's concentrate on those. Hoping to get Jason Stratham on the NQ. That would be nice. Some shark killing action. I went to see the Meg yesterday, the Meg 2. Different, obviously, to the Meg 1. But still, megalodons being chased around by a bald guy trying to stab them with explosives. Pretty much the same as the first film. So there you go. We've got 3 minutes to the open. There you go. That's my movie critic summary of the Meg 2. Bald bloke chasing sharks with a stabby stick. So DAX has got a little bit of room for the downside. We've got a gap fill upside to do on the DAX, which we looked at this morning. Obviously, we're not going to trade the DAX this afternoon. We trade the US indices, but just bear in mind that is still there. We've come off that high. So low. So we've done a liquidity run there, wick off spring type. We get that gap fill done and push up. I reckon tomorrow we might get that move, but we'll see. So looking at the US indices, after yesterday's moves, the Dow, we are mid-range. So yesterday's high and previous day's high is pretty much the same thing there. Yesterday's low and the previous day's low, day before's low, pretty much the same thing. So ADR hit to the downside, half an ADR to the upside on the Dow. S&P, you've got yesterday's high, which is not far away, and then obviously that spike there, which is this resistance. So downside is yesterday's low, which is an ADR. So it's roughly half an ADR up, an ADR down on both of those. And the NASDAQ, we're kind of mid-range on that. 35 seconds to the open. So we've got roughly half an ADR to the upside and the downside. So it could go absolutely either way at the moment. Market's opening short or going pre-market short. So we've got 20 seconds. So equal distance up and down. Don't know which way it's going, obviously. So we'll just take whatever comes to fruition. Quite a bit of pre-market volatility coming in. Roblox's share price went down. Roblox missed their earnings. For anybody with kids, you know what Roblox is. Kids are never off it. NASDAQ, no trade. Pre-market's all skipped. Conditions not right on the NASDAQ. Cool. Right. So short on the S&P and long on the Dow. This has been skipped basically today by this version of the EA because the range size is too small. So the minimum range I'm interested in trading is 249, which is 10% of the average daily range. There wasn't a range before that in the 5, 10, 15 or any of those ranges, which was above 10% of the range. So it skipped that for the open, but it will trade the 5-minute ORB instead. So we'll see where we go. But we're short on the S&P. That's broken the 5, 10, 15 pre-market. And the Dow has broken the 5, 10 or 15, whichever you took long. So you'd be long on that and short on that if you're taking the pre-markets on those. You would also be short the NASDAQ as well. Right. The excitement of summer trading. Yeah, I know. Afternoon, Crom. Afternoon, Neo. Francisco, what about US dollar CAD? Yesterday, I did a short trade from 125% of ADR, and today long on the pullback. I'll have a look at that in a sec. So NASDAQ's gone flying out the lows. S&P is trying to do the same thing. The Dow is struggling at the minute. Got a bit of slippage there, look, on the Dow. Got slipped by 6 pips. Pretty big slip, that. Okay, fair bit of volume coming in, but no direction. We'll come back to that in a sec. US dollar CAD. So yeah, I'm short yesterday from that rally. Had an exit on that today, but it's pushing up again at the moment. Dow's out the lows as well, hedged on the Dow. Yeah, I mean, that was an RSI extension on the hourly, so that would have been an H1M5 entry. I was already in it from last week from the H1 entry, and all we got was basically 3 days sideways after that push. So this is potentially looking to go up for another leg. So on the US dollar CAD, we're up in this propulsion gap at the moment, but I would say that's not a very good propulsion gap because there's no accumulation before it. That's where the break started. So I'll be watching that high around 175 ADR. If we can get up to their third position on and wait for them to come back down and retest this propulsion gap. It might just come down and do it if it comes down and does it. Basically, I'm looking to get out of this ideally before tomorrow afternoon. So if we can get a downward momentum on the US dollar this afternoon, or get a rally off the Canadian dollar on oil, maybe. We've got oil prices, oil inventories coming through at 3:30 this afternoon. So in an hour's time, when the oil inventories are released, if we can get a decent push on oil, that will bolster the CAD. CAD could drop the US dollar CAD down, hit target. So I'm looking to get out in that propulsion gap, basically at the bottom of this, kind of in the middle of this accumulation. Ideally before tomorrow, but if not, it's down to CPI tomorrow, whether that goes up or down, as to whether that's going to move. Look at this Dow. Total whipsaw on the Dow. So there's your 5-minute opening range going in. 10 seconds left. So that's your 5-minute ORB today. Pre-market is a whipsaw. So there's your 5-minute opening range. And that looks like that's just broken along on the Dow. Okay, so I'm going to take the 5-minute ORB on the NASDAQ. Wherever we go. So no real direction today so far. So hedged on the Dow. So for those of you that were in the live room this morning, when I was going through the analysis that I've been doing on hedging for the indices, today is a perfect example of what I explained this morning in the live room. I went through in detail in the strategy tester. Hedging and exiting hedging to bank a profit, regardless which way it goes. Just that's a perfect example today. We're expecting the gap fill to the downside. We're expecting the bounce at the high after the gap fill to the upside. So profit on trade 1, break even trade 2. Very nice move today. Dow's reversing. This thing doesn't know where it's going yet at all. But the US indices look like they want to go short. Don't forget we got that DAX gap fill as well. So there'll be pressure on the DAX short as well. But that will more likely get taken with the US indices, whichever way it goes. So hard banking money. Really is in this summer months. It's terrible. Stephen, when does the market start to get back to normal volatility? September, yeah. Afternoon, Evans. The FX market, anyway. Stock market will move anyway. Stock market will always move, but you get a lot. You get a lot of volume, but not a lot of direction, which is good actually, because if you're trying to mean revert trade, it's brilliant. It's just trying to get into positions. That's the hard bit, trying to find entries, because the market doesn't move far enough to give you an entry. Most systems and strategies rely on either a breakout for an entry or some kind of extension in price for an entry, i.e. a mean reversion. So you're either trading breakouts, trends, or mean reversion. There's only 3 types of strategy that exist. So all of them require the market to have moved a certain distance before you get a signal or a condition met that will give you a signal. When you're doing that all the time, even range trading is difficult because you quite often won't even get to the ranges. So just so a lot of people take the summer off. I can't afford to take the summer off. It would be nice, I probably could afford to take the summer off, but I hate taking time off. When you take time off trading, it's one of those things. It's kind of like riding a bike, but because you live the markets like I do every day, I'm in the news every day, I'm in the markets every day, I'm watching everything every day. You know what's going on with everything. Somebody shouts out at me, you know, we're talking with the family or something about interest rates, and they're like, yeah, what is the interest rate at the moment? And I'll just reel off the interest rate and go, it's not quite as good as the US, but the Canadians catching up with the rubber. And they're like, how do you know all that? It's because I live in it. When you've come out of it for a week or two and gone on holiday and you come back to it, you feel lost because you haven't watched the news for a week or two. You haven't seen charts for a week or two. Everything's in different places to when you left. It's like you've moved back into your house and someone's moved everything. It's really weird. It's horrible taking time off when you're in there every single day of the week. But summer trading is like that. You feel like you're in Groundhog Day for a month, but there's nothing you can do about it. Well, hopefully, this is why we rely on news. We want the US to wake up the market tomorrow and try and get a couple of days worth of movement. And if it goes your way, fantastic. If it doesn't, get in the opposite direction to whatever it's gone, because it's highly likely it's not going to be able to continue the way it went because there's no volume, there's no volatility in the market to drive it. So if you get a spike, short it. If you get a dump, long it, because it's highly unlikely the market is going to have enough traction to carry on the direction. Just the way it goes. How does your chart get updated when you click on a new symbol in the Market Watch? I'm dragging it. So when you click, so just click, hold, drag, drop. Click, hold, drag, drop. I'm just dragging this over onto the chart. You made 8K yesterday and you can't take time off. I'm doomed. Yeah, but I do also lose as well. Got to keep trading because you've got to make money constantly. It's the same as anything, right? What you do when you're young, you dream of earning enough money to buy nice cars, nice houses and things. And what the actual reality is, as you'll know if you're anybody in here is my sort of age, what you do is you live to your means. So when you get a bigger job or better earnings, you don't actually become any richer. What you do is you buy a bigger house and a bigger car, and you are still living up to the eyeballs. So my mortgage, although I live in a nice 4-bedroom house, my mortgage is still high. So all you're doing is you're spending more, which means you need to earn more. So the more you spend, the more you need to earn. And it's a never-ending cycle of always wanting more money. The only time you get to the point where you don't need more money is when you've got to the point where you're multi-millionaire and you can buy anything you like and the interest is more than you're spending a day. Very few people ever get there. Jeff Bezos, people like that. Other than that, we all need to make money. Okay, so the break on the NASDAQ and the S&P is on the downside. Obvious target for the downside is that propulsion, which is 2.5R. And you've got sort of 3.5R down to yesterday's low. 3.5R of the opening range, basically. So that'd be downside on the NASDAQ. S&P downside, there's loads of it. It's a lot further to drop. So don't like this bounce that we're getting. So we just bounced off this high. So we hit that level, broke it, tested it, rejected it, came back up, broke it, tested it, rejected it, bounced here. So this previous level is just held, which is that propulsion gap, that accumulation break. So they're adding back into that level. See if it holds. Afternoon, Freeman. Harold, I can't access Telegram group anymore. Pass. Have you been naughty? Have you been blocked for sharing charts or products or something? I can't remember how to look at that. Manage group. Yes, you have, Harold. You've been blocked. Posting products on the MQL5 marketplace. That's very naughty. You're not allowed to do that. Yeah, I think it was a product, as you just said. You shared a product on MQL5. You can't do that. You can't share links. I can unblock you, but don't share any links because the system will kick you out. Members. I can't remember how to do it. I don't do this very often. Permissions. Removed users. There we are. Okay, you're deleted, Harold. So you're deleted from removed users. So you should be able to rejoin now. There you go. Game over. What's your free bootcamp on position trading? It's brilliant, but scary. Why is it scary? It's only scary till you try it. Get a demo account. Stick 5 or 10 grand in it. Jesus, look at this Dow today. What a mess. And trade it for a month. Probably not this month. Pick another month. Pick any other month. This month, basically, to position trade, you need this to light up and give you some opportunities. It's not happening in a minute. So this isn't the best month to start position trading. ADR reversals probably is your best bet at the moment. But even then, you know, it's difficult to get any ADRs either. It's just very, very difficult. Mean reversion is very hard at the minute because the market's got to move to be able to get into opportunities. What you will find is in September, they will have RSI extensions and ADRs extensions all over the place because the market will be contracted. All the ADRs at the moment are dropping. So all these ADRs are going to drop down to smaller levels than they were because the price is contracting and we're not moving very far. So what you'll find is in September, when the price goes back to moving normally, we'll get 150 ADRs, we'll get big RSI extensions because it will all come back to life again. Sometimes we have really good summers and it really moves, but sometimes it's just shocking. Nothing you can do. So hedge, I'm hedged on the Dow at the minute. So if I can squeeze, basically play for today, if I can squeeze 2 grand out of the S&P and the NASDAQ, I'll shut the Dow and just take that $600 loss and take $1,400 on these three. That coupled with $1,400 on the DAX this morning will do today. But I need these guys to play ball. So I want a drop short ideally. What's that? 11. It's 2,200. So hopefully we just get a drop, but it's not really moving at the minute. Market's very, 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 very sluggish. Sarah, nice pre-market ORB, 1.5 up, good. Yeah, so the pre-market on the NAS, if you took it, That was the 5, 10, 15. It was pretty much the same thing, which is there. So you've got 3R. The first candle, which is there, did, well, the second candle basically did 2R. So the short was very nice and easy on the NAS this afternoon. The 5 minute on the S&P, you've had just about 1.5 hour, just about. The 15 minute on that is what basically I'm in, so that hasn't quite got there yet. Afternoon, John. Jimmy, agreed 100% with Lee. That's what I'm doing. And every trade using ADR extensions and mean reversion has been a winner. Cool. FTSE flying to the moon, is it? Haven't got the FTSE on here. Oh yeah, blimey, look at that. FTSE's off. DAX is pushing as well. Don't know what's happened to the FTSE. That's just, we've obviously had some stock earnings or something coming on the FTSE by the looks of things. Just be aware of this as well this morning. This didn't move the market much this morning. I haven't looked at the news, by the way. I've completely forgot because there's nothing to look at. There is no news today. That's it. We've had it. This was this morning's news. Russian Defense Minister Shoigu, sounds like he's Japanese, but he's Russian apparently. Russia will build up forces on Western borders. So Russia's moving all of its forces over to the NATO border. Stroke Ukraine. So tensions are building a little there. Anything that comes out of Russia, which is pro the war and aggressive stance, will drop the indexes. The stock indexes will drop. So just be aware of that. If you're ever in long positions on the DAX, specifically on the DAX, because it's German, obviously, it's European. So just be aware of that. We've had quite a few instances when it all kicked off in Ukraine of every time Russia opened its mouth, the indexes dropped dramatically. Lovely for shorts. Made some serious money on some shorts. Pure fluke. But that's the only news we've had this morning. Other than that, Roblox shares have dropped 17%. Oh, the kids will be so upset when I tell them. You know that game you play all the time? It's about to die. That would save me 20 quid a month. Okay, NASDAQ break is doing well. And the S&P. Sec. So not quite getting to target on this NASDAQ. So I'm just targeting, I'm just being a bit conservative. This is a 2R now. So I'm break even on the NASDAQ, can't lose. I'm not going to go for this low. I suspect there's probably there's going to be limit orders triggered there. But this is where we turned. So when you're thinking market structure, yeah, whenever you've got a low, there's one of two things is going to happen when the market's dropping towards the low. We're either going to double bottom or we're going to put in a market structure move. Yeah. So if you're going to put a market structure move in from that low to that high, to invalidate market structure, you cannot put in a lower low. Obviously, you need to put in a higher low to continue that direction. So when you're targeting and going short, if If you target the low, you're assuming a double bottom. If you assume market structure is going to hold, you won't get to that double bottom before you bounce, because they will add on the break of the move, which is where you see the propulsion gaps typically. So that's why I'm targeting this area here. That's where the W pattern reversal was. So that's where you'd have had your reversal alert, would have triggered there. Go long. So this is a retest of the reversal alert on M5 from yesterday. So that's why I'm targeting that area there rather than the double bottom. But if obviously it's going to double bottom, then it'll double bottom. And obviously it could fly out the lows. Market structure at the moment is high, low, lower, high. So there's every chance that we're going to put in a lower low and continue market structure short. But if this is going to be a reversal, we're going to put in a higher low. So I'm just trying to get out safely, basically. It's rejecting this level at the minute. S&P is also struggling a little bit at 1R. Dow is just stuck, completely stuck. It's just not moving. That totally stuck. Going anywhere. XR update.news afternoon. Morning from Chirac. Late again, was up in front of the charts, missed the open. Apparently I missed nothing. Well, depends. If you're trading the NASDAQ and the S&P, you missed plenty. If you're trading the Dow, you might as well just stick a high and a low pending order on and wait. So, yeah. If you were trading the Dow, you've probably saved yourself a bit of money. If you were trading these two, you've lost. However, if you've been using the opening range breakout EA, it would have done this for you and you'd be quids in. But yeah, I think it might, I'm not going to get greedy today. Any chance of an oil forecast before the inventories? Oh, we've hit the level. Okay, so we've hit the 83.5. So this was our forecast level. Look. Ooh, back out. So this level here, which was 83, roughly 83.50 a barrel, is where we were looking at for potential limit order trigger. We haven't got that limit order trigger. Yeah, so we've triggered some limit orders at that level. And we're trying to push through. So it doesn't look like there's a lot of resistance here. So if the inventories come out as lower than forecast, we'll probably get a pop on oil. So oil is forecast. Next stop for oil is $95 a barrel. I need to watch H4. So $95 a barrel is the estimate from Goldman Sachs for 2023, which was forecast back here. Somewhere there. So December last year, all we got was attempts to break out all year so far. So this is our next attempt to break highs and get to that $95. So if we break this high today, we'll be on the way, I think. However, look at the price action that we've had. It's been pretty much a sustained rally now for 6 weeks. So this thing's exhausted. There is a lot of money sitting long on this with a very large P&L wanting probably to take some profit. So I would be much more interested in getting in on a pullback on this at some point. I know no idea where to pull back to. 24.72 area would be good for longs. But we may well just fly out the highs. Very difficult to tell. So see what happens. But that is the high we've been waiting for. Looking for a bounce play. So could go either way. I suspect it will on the oil inventories in half an hour. But yes, quite a decent break that. They're not hanging about, are they? If you look at it on the 4-hour chart, we did get some limit orders trigger, but they've just put in a new high, higher high, higher low. Yeah, we're plowing straight through that. There's no resistance at all. Good moves. Doesn't help with your direction because obviously it depends what the oil inventories are. It will go wherever the hell it wants. It doesn't make any difference what that figure is. It will just go where it likes. Look at the Dow. Half an hour in. Literally haven't gone anywhere. NASDAQ, we've got 1 minute 30 left on this candle, but we're putting in an inside bar. So we're an inside bar. Same with the S&P, inside bar. So the market is struggling to force itself lower. So just watch this, potentially for a reversal. There's not really any reason for a reversal here. There is a propulsion gap, but there's not really any real reason for the market to stall at this level. Saying that, mind you, that's all part of one move. So basically each of these accumulations and breaks is an order going in the market with the banks. So each of these is an order. If they want to go long, they need somewhere to pull back. So when you look at an upward move and a market structure move to the upside, you're looking for 38.71.9 retracement area. So this is a 50% bounce. So if we're going to go long, potentially that could go from there. Could also go from down here. If we're going to remain short, however, obviously we'd be looking to put in a new low today. But let's see. Okay, so inside bars on the S&P and the NASDAQ. So we're in a contraction. So looking for a break of that low or that high to give us an indication of which way the market's probably going to break next. I wasn't in the S&P, so I've just put pending orders on that. I kind of want to take this off because the Dow hasn't managed to go short, and I got a feeling this market wants to push higher looking at it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to protect that with a break-even stop. That's already at break-even. Okay, so we just tested that high. There we go. It's broken high. Just locking some profit in on this NASDAQ. It's just $300, and that's a break even. So going to break even on the S&P, locking 350-ish on the NASDAQ. And now I've got to deal with the Dow. Okay, so break even on the S&P. Well, small profit. $13. Go. Going to need a bigger boat for all the NASDAQ cash today. Good man, Brian. Wish I did. I might regret that. We'll see. So the Dow's just getting battered back down at the minute. NASDAQ's tried to break that high. Hasn't managed it. S&P's broken to the upside as well. Dow waiting for oil inventory. Not normally. Indices don't really care about oil. The oil inventories don't really affect the stock price of any oil companies, because what the price of oil is, the retail of oil and the refinement of oil aren't really how they make the majority of their money. It's the extraction with the big oil companies. So what that actually goes for as a barrel is less important. There's a lot more in it with the subsidies and all sorts of stuff with oil, but it doesn't really affect the stock market very much. Still holding on the NASDAQ. Okay, I'm just going to cancel the TP. Actually, no, I'll stick the TP down at the lows now. $1,600. I'm going to trail it by the height of that candle. So if this does continue to drop, this trailer is just going to be a little tighter, just to lock in a little bit more profit, because now I'm out of the S&P. If this is going to continue to drop, I just want to make sure I get a decent profit on it, because I've still got to deal with this $670 hedged in on the Dow. So P&L's going up again. Did anybody bank anything today? We talked about this morning on the pound US dollar. I just can't seem to bring myself to press the close button on this order, because every time it gets there, I just think it's got to go. It's got to get there at some point. It's just can't stick its head above the water, can it? Hoping for a drop back to 82 on oil. $500 drawdown. $600 profit on the ORB today, Harold. Good job. Drop back to 82. Be able to do that. So if you look at this move you've just put in on oil, $82 a barrel is there in that propulsion gap. That's a 38 retracement. That's a 50 retracement. So if you're going to get a shallow to medium pullback on it, you'll be down below 82. And the market structure obviously is bullish. Nice orderly pullback. If it's going to continue long, that is. Obviously, there's every chance that this may well want to put in a deeper pullback now. So going out and looking at the bigger picture, $38 retracement is that high. 50 retracement is there. So on that move, if we're going to need a bigger, deeper pullback to get more power to move that leg up, we'll be down way below $82 a barrel. $76, $77 a barrel is 38 retracement, which would be what I would class as probably the shallow pullback, if it's going to pull back. Oil's got this tendency just to go like that, which is why I don't position trade it, because it's caught me out before by doing that. Same as gold does. It's very, very similar to gold in the way that it moves. It can go into long, sustained moves, which are just fatal for position trading. Not fatal, but not good. Yeah, got out too soon on that S&P. Dow's back inside. This thing doesn't know where it wants to go today at all. Brian, out the NASDAQ. Profit's profit. Daniel, you banked $3. Good job. If you can bank another $3, you'll be able to get a cup of coffee. I remember the day when a cup of coffee used to cost 25 pence. I don't really, at all. At all. Never bought coffee back then, even if it was ever at that price. I do remember when beer used to cost £1 a pint, though. Now it's more like 6 to 7. Euro 96, I was in the pub watching Euro 96. And it was £1 a pint until the first goal was scored. And that was on offer from 150. So pretty good. You'd be able to go down the pub with 5 or 10 quid and get hammered all day watching football. It's fantastic. Now, if you go down the pub with 10 quid, you will get a pint and a half. Not fantastic. And you're likely to get shot or stabbed. Don't go out anymore. It's scary out there. And I live in the UK. We are pushing back down to retest these lows. So this looks like it's just a little flag. So watch those lows. Low target on the S&P. Oh, it's miles on the S&P. Miles. You're not even halfway there yet. But any of these propulsion moves, yeah, could be add spots. So I just wouldn't get too greedy today because this is not a very volatile move at the open today. So we might not get a lot of movement. Take what you can. Anybody got any other pairs they want to have a look at? Oh, button. EA thinking of going long? I'm short on the euro odd at the moment. Not going anywhere really, is it? You just had a reversal alert on this and a retest. So obviously that's your high that got broken. Price discovery at the highs. We've returned back into that area. So potentially this is just putting in an M pattern reversal. Got this big propulsion gap target to the downside. That one there they added to. So we know there's support there. So you know, I mean, it's extended at the moment. The Australian dollar is weak. The euro should be strong, but there is no strength in it at the moment. So got these two positions on. That was the first entry short. Second entry scale in was up here. So yeah, I'm just waiting for some movement. You know, sitting here like half an ADR away from break even. Can't even get that. It's so difficult to get in and out of anything at the minute. There's no news for the euro or the Aussie at all tomorrow or on Friday. So there's no catalysts whatsoever to move either of those pairs. So potentially we could just be sitting there like that, or just grinding slightly up, or we could grind slightly down. But there's no catalysts until next week. So next week, I thought we had odd news next week. Oh, it's New Zealand, sorry. It's New Zealand dollar rates next week. That will move the Australian dollar. Oh, yes, unemployment for the Aussie. I knew we had an Aussie next week. So it's the Aussie unemployment next week at the end of the month, end of the week. We've got the monetary policy meeting minutes, but there's nothing we don't really know in there from the previous meeting. So there's no catalyst to move this. Potentially Tuesday. Look at Monday again. No news again on Monday. Okay, so I'm out the long on the Dow. Stopped out. Small loss. So I'm hoping for a flip short on the Dow. Out the NASDAQ. Closed out 524. So between those three, that's $2,000. Sitting in $450 loss on the Dow at the moment. So if we can get a break to the downside on the Dow, I've got to make basically $450 to break even on it. And that will be enough. Break even on it, I shall be very happy today. Although there's a lot of downside on this. Look, on the Dow, if it wants to go down, we are just range bound. This is the problem at the minute. We're bang in the middle of a range. Yeah. So we've got range highs, range lows. We are here. Market is fighting over whether or not we're going to test a new high or test a new low today, or try. You know, we've got to go ADR to the downside. ADR to the upside is a little bit further away. ADR to the upside is all the way up there. Look. So market's fighting over this at the minute. So if you look at what we had on a daily basis, we had a range put in, pretty much an inside bar or a double top, double bottom. And now we are at the moment an inside bar on these inside bar plays. So the market is just doing that in a minute. So no wonder there's no direction on it. There's no, it's just equilibrium, balance, as they call it. There's no reason to go long, no reason to go short. So we stick where we are. Like pulling teeth on the indices as well. It's awful. Awful. Pound CAD came back and took out today's high. Yep. Just in a range, literally in a range. So you got limit triggers. This is what causes ranges, limit orders. Yeah. So at this high, we pushed up into this high, we sold from it. As we get back up to there, everyone that sold from it has their limit orders triggering shorts there. Everyone that had a buy order there triggers their limit orders long there. So this is why you form ranges, because limit orders in the banks are just triggering at the highs and lows. So, and this is what you get in summer trading. This is algorithmic movement. It's just the algorithms working the ranges until they are balanced in a way that they can move the market and make some money. Obviously, you never know when the market breaks are going to come. So you just sit there at the minute waiting for someone to push a button. Last 5 minutes, 100 sell-off. What? Oh, do you mean the FTSE? No. S&P, looking at the H4, definitely a sell. Is it? Sell it then. If it's definitely a sell. You reminded me of that dollar bill out of billions. How sure are you on that sell? If you say, I am not uncertain, I will go into the sell with you. However, I would call that a very, very strong support bounce. This is how everybody makes money in the market. If you think it's a short and I think it's a long, that's great, because I can buy it and you can sell it. We fill each other as orders. At one point, one of us is going to get out with a loss. That's how it works. Every time I'm right, you're wrong. Every time you're right, I'm wrong. US dollar yen. Sideways mess. So US dollar yen, looking for 145 on that. This monthly high. So this is last month's high, which is pretty much where we started the month, and then the previous month's high. So this accumulation, which lasted about 6 days, 7 days before we broke to the downside. So this is where the Japanese, all the way up here, the Japanese were saying, if you carry on devaluing the yen, we will intervene. If you carry on devaluing the yen, we will intervene. The market went, okay, we won't. And then they went boom and dropped it. So next time we get to 145, you'll see the news feed get full of the Japanese threatening to intervene again, I would imagine. So I'm looking for a bounce at 145 as a double top to form a range. Can't get there though. So I was hoping we were going to drive there last week, but we didn't manage it. We just pulled back. So at the minute, you're stuck now inside a 10-day range. Again, as we are with everything at the minute. So you could take a range, a short there. If that doesn't hold, scale in, second position up there, and then get out when it pulls back. But right now, you're just testing yesterday's high, so going anywhere. Pressing, isn't it? I think I might partake in some wild swimming this afternoon. Probably the best thing to do, Brian. Why don't you give Greg a ring and see if he's free? My brother-in-law sent me an email last week. Let me see if I can find it. And basically, he sent me a link because he knows I do trading. And he said, what do you think of this? He wanted my opinion on it. Who do you think it was? This is the link he sent me. What do you think of this guy? What do you think I told him? I said, yeah, he's well known in our industry, more for wearing eye makeup than knowing anything about trading. But anyway, good old Greg Secker. So if you fancy going wild swimming, Greg's your man. He will take you wild swimming. He'll also sell you an awful lot of stuff that won't teach you anything about trading. But yes, he's good at wild swimming. Lumo, heard mentioned during Frankfurt that you trade the ORB strategy on futures. It's manual, yeah. So manual. And obviously you can't hedge, so you are reliant on basically getting in to trades and stopping out and then flipping and reversing. So stop and reverse, they call it in futures. Stuck. Totally stuck. Okay, so testing the lows on the S&P. If we're getting break on the Dow and I can make $500, I'm out. I'm done. So on the Dow, I'm going for 1.5 bar short. Down into that support, resistance. So if we can test that propulsion gap, I'll get out there. That'll bank $300, which would just be 1 hour out the lows. Yeah. Other than that, not quite sure what to do with that one this afternoon. I'm off for a 5K run. Good idea, Jimmy. That's the best thing you can do. So if you're going to trade, so basically all I'm doing in futures is literally this traditional ORB strategy. So as traded by the opening range breakout EA, not that one, that one. So literally just trading the opening range breakout. So I'm more doing pre-market ranges, pre-market 15 or 5, depending on what it looks like, and depending on whether there's news or not coming up. But literally just taking those quick breaks. But on the futures market, I'm in and out so much faster. So literally within a candle, because we're looking at, you know, anything from $5 to $25 a tick. So, you know, one candle up is worth $1,000. So I'm in and out in a candle on those breaks and stopping out on them quite quick as well. So very different thing, futures, but the strategy is the same. It's taking the breaks. Like the Dow today is just a mess, utter mess. But if you'd have traded the obviously the other two indices today on the futures market, your quid's in. What do I think about pound yen? I think I've already done pound yen. We're not, or was that this morning? Do you know what? It's all every session at the moment is rolling into one because I'm talking about the same stuff because it's the same. We're not going anywhere. So pound yen, I've got short on it at the moment from that H1 RSI extension yesterday. We've got last week's low high as a backup with limit orders triggering hopefully above there. Looking for a breakdown into this low. These propulsion gaps here are kind of part of this range. So basically what we did was we formed a range. We had a news event from the Japanese saying we've got something big coming tomorrow. Then it came and we were like, that's not big. And now we're just continuing the range that we were in previously. So we're up at range highs looking to short. So looking for a move back down into these range lows or back down potentially into this propulsion gap, which isn't really a propulsion gap because it's part of that V-shaped recovery on the news event. So just looking for a trade back down into there at the minute. I think I've got that on this account as well. I know I've got Aussie yen and Swiss yen short. So I'm looking for some yen strength basically at the minute. And again, look, 5 positions on, just not going anywhere. You can't even trade with a stop loss. We have no hope. We've just broken the lows on the NASDAQ. We've just retested the lows of the session on the S&P. So both of these are testing of the lows to see if we can get a break. If we can get a break, we've got a chance of running, I think, to the downside. And hopefully that'll bring the Dow down with it. DAX is trying as well. It's all trying very, very hard to make a break, but not actually getting anywhere at the minute. Look at this range on the Dow. Look, we've had that one move out to the highs. Literally coming up on an hour. Nowhere. You should send your brother-in-law Mamba. Really throw him for a loop. Yeah. Still doing M5 on futures. Yeah, everything I do is M5 on futures, on scalping. Yeah, I mean, it's I could send him Mamba, but I don't really want him to chuck any money at him. And I think he'd probably laugh at me. He was interested in basically going to Greg Secker's seminar. And I said to him, if you go to Greg Secker's seminar, he will sell you the dream. You will then have to sign up for his proper course, which is going to cost you a few grand. And then when you've signed up for his proper course and you've done his course, you'll have to buy his software, which is going to cost you a few grand. And then you're going to have to use his brokerage, which is going to cost you a few grand. By the time you've dumped 5 or 10 grand into Greg Secker, you still won't know anything more because the market's random, moves up and down at random, and there's nothing that can predict the future. So if you want to chuck 5 or 10 grand Greg's way so he can buy another helicopter and go wild swimming with his friends, do it. Otherwise, just press the up and down button at random and wait till the market goes up or down and then get out. And then he laughed at me. And that was basically pretty much the email. Your brother-in-law has you. Why would he ask you about other people? I don't know. Oh, he has you. Why would he ask about other people? I don't know. Probably because it's just advertising, isn't it? All the advertising makes it look amazing. It looks easy. It's a case of buy my software. All the systems and strategies and signals are all built into it. And when you get an up arrow, you buy it. When you get a down arrow, you buy it. And then he shows you how a perfect trade plays out, which happens once in 100 trades. Yeah, it's like me showing the ADR reversal, where today, we've got the ADR reversal today, the Euro Swiss. Look at this. It's not an ADR reversal, but it's like me showing this. Hey, look at the ADR level and how price pushed into the ADR level and immediately rejected it and started to push down. It's that easy. You can make $1 billion. Just do this every time it gets there. And then you trade it and none of that ever works. And when you see it and you see a video teaching you all of this, it looks amazingly simple, doesn't it? That's not the way it works, is it? But that's what he sees. I don't know. I would never manage my family's money. Never go into business with family. We're not going to business with family, but never, you know, when money becomes involved in it, it becomes too complicated. Teach somebody to fish, let them feed themselves. Probably doesn't flaunt his gains everywhere, which is why his brother-in-law might not ask. Yeah, exactly. Do I have any job openings? No. I don't have any employees. There's only me. I don't trust anybody to do my job. Honest answer. I would not trust anybody to do my job at all. I do my job. This isn't going anywhere. I'm in danger of this Dow ruining my day. So I think I'm going to bail on it. I'm just going to put a stop there, which is going to lose me basically $1,000 on the Dow. Screwed up the exit on that, screwed up the exit on that. That was fine. So if this pushes down, I think I'll probably just take a break even at these lows if I can get it. If it pushes up, I'll take a little loss on it. So it's going to put me, as I say, $1,000 in the hole. Got $500 there, $1,500 there. So we end up on the day, but this is not tradable today. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to chuck a tight stop of 33 points. No, not 33. 330. Nice. So I'm chucking a 330 stop on it, basically. So if it pushes down and attempts to break, this will just trail down and get me out with whatever it gets me out of. Either that, or I'm just going to get stopped out, actually, by those things. So either that, or I'll just get stopped out, which it looks like it's going to do, and it has. So there you go. Out, flat. So it's 1,100 loss there. So net on the day, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can't do anything with this today. It's just not conducive to making money. We'll do it again on Friday. You don't trust anybody with managing your account, taking trades for you? No. And neither should you. Neither should anybody. All these people, I get asked all the time in Telegram, do you do account management? It's like, I'm first of all not qualified. So unless you're a financial advisor or a trading professional, you can't manage anybody's money. But even if they wanted me to, I could offer a signal service. But then how does that help you pay? How does that help you live? Signal services help you make short-term gains, assuming you can get the same trades as me, and I just don't go loopy and go, screw it, 100 lots long, and blow your account for you. Happened. Seen it happen. And also, if I decide, actually, I'm going to jack this in, I don't want to do it anymore, you're out of a job. You've got to learn to do this yourself. If you want to become a trader, you become a trader. You don't just copy other people's trades, because it's not how it works. Unless you're going to copy a portfolio of people. If you put a portfolio of 5 or 10 really good traders together and trade all of their signals, brilliant. But I haven't found one signal provider actually that makes money yet. So that's why they are not making money, because they can't do it. They're all trying to use stop losses. S&P, I've just broken even on the S&P trade. So that inside bar break, I've just taken that off. It's a tiny, 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 tiny loss. Pretty much break even. It's not going anywhere today, so I would give up if you haven't already. Oil news is out. It is. Oil looks about as excited as everything else at the moment, doesn't it? Oil inventories are 5.85 on a forecast of 2.3, so that's negative oil in theory. Doesn't work that way though all the time. So basically the oil inventories are up, which makes oil cheaper because there's more supply than demand. Well, there's more supply, which would typically drive prices down, but it doesn't always work that way. Oil does what the hell it likes. You can have a massive miss on oil inventories, i.e. forecast a 1 million barrel increase and get a 25 million barrel shortfall, in which case it should fly through the air and it just collapses. It just does what the hell it likes. Oil has no relationship to the news whatsoever. You're going to push down and break that now, aren't you? And you're going to waste my $500. Yeah, there's no reaction. It's almost as if you walked into a bank right now, there's no one there. Literally nobody trading. There's the bank of computers going up and down, taking each other's orders, and then saying, you give me a tick, I'll give you back a tick in a minute, and we'll just keep exchanging ticks and making $10 to $25 every time we get a tick, and screw the rest of them. Basically, is all that's happening at the minute. So as you can see, no ADRs. That RSI on the Euro CAD. Euro CAD, look. We actually got an RSI as well. We had the Euro Swiss earlier. Yeah, there you go. If you're trading the RSI 14s, you've just about had a 70 on both of those. That is it. So as you can see, there's no movement anywhere. So I haven't banked anything today. Nothing can get into profit enough to bank anything. I've done one drawdown control yesterday. I couldn't bank anything the day before because we literally are going nowhere. So I'll be back on Friday, and obviously we'll update on what's going on. I'll post anything in the Telegram group that happens that I see. All the trades that I took this morning, support resistance bounces, they've all triggered. I'm in them all, but none of them have gone anywhere. So there'll probably be some profit to potentially make on this lot at some point. Sorry, that's the wrong account. No, that's the position trading account, Lee. Wake up. That account. I was going to say, that looks like an awful lot of trades. So they've all triggered. None of them have gone anywhere. So these are all the ones we looked at this morning. None of the alerts I set this morning have gone off today because we haven't moved anywhere. So nothing much to report. So there we go. For prop, thoughts on trading the DAX, the NAS, and the DOW on one account, or trading each individually on different accounts? I would trade them on one account with smaller risk. Because they're different, you will find obviously because they all move differently. If one of them doesn't work, you've got the chance of getting the money back on that one with the other two. So if for example, if you're trading the NAS, the DOW, look at this thing. Glad I got out of that. If you're trading these, like these three, that one made money today, this one didn't. So that one kind of pays for that one. That one made money today, so that also pays for that one. So between these three, I came out with a plus today. If I'd just been trading the DOW today, I'd have made a loss. If I'd just been trading the DAX today, I'd have made a win. Trading all three of them, you're diversifying your risk, aren't you? So because they move differently, these three, they're the best things to trade from indices perspective, because you've got one moving in the morning, two moving in the afternoon. And if you want to carry on trading this in the afternoon, you can do. But obviously the movement in the afternoon is quite often a lot less. So yeah, I would trade them all on one account. And I do trade them all on one account. It's much better because it diversifies. And days like yesterday, where every single trade just plays out beautifully, you're going to make a fortune. Yeah, so if there's a massive stock sector sell happens at the open and they sell off multiple sectors at once, these are all going to go. In which case, you're going to make money on all of them and the same volume of money on all of them. So you make a couple of grand here, a couple of grand here, a couple of grand here. Those are the days that do you. That's it. You're done for the week. Go and do something else. That pays the mortgage. But if the trouble is, if you are getting into something like I'm only trading the Dow on this account and the Dow goes into a stagnation run, you're just going to gradually grind away that account, which is not really a problem, but it's going to take a lot longer for you to get that money back. And obviously the other danger you've got is all of them go wrong together, in which case then you're going to lose 3 times as much. But there's no right or wrong, is there? So you've got to adjust your risk accordingly if you're going to trade all of them. Which is why these are all trading roughly, as you can see, roughly $700 risk each. So worst case scenario, I can't lose more than 3 to 4K. Where did I learn to code? Self-taught. Actually, one, that's not true. I learned to code at college. In DOS days, I learned to code DOS. Disk Operating System. Microsoft Disk Operating System. That sounds really archaic, doesn't it? I learned DOS. And then I self-taught myself everything else. What would be a good place to start if you want to dabble in futures? Go and get a prop account. So go to Top Step. If you want to start dabbling in futures, if you go to Top Step, you can set up an account with Top Step and you can have a free demo account. They provide you with a practice account at all times. So you just use the practice account and go and play. It will cost you, obviously, to get the practice account. But just buy the cheapest futures you can with Top Step, really. Actually, I think they might... oh, no, you can't at the moment. They're not taking new signups. No, they're not taking new signups at the moment. Take Profit Trader, I think, does a free account. I can't remember. Basically, go and look at Take Profit Trader, Top Step. Apex doesn't do freebie. Those two, really. For the indices, $700 is approximately what? 0.7%. Roughly 0.5%. If you risk 0.5% to 1%, you'll be fine on the indices. Pepperstone does a demo. Yeah, Pepperstone's not futures, though. That's a broker. Right, I will leave it there today because I've basically been filling for the last hour or so anyway because nothing's moving. So I'll be back on Friday morning. I'm not going to be trading tomorrow. Got day off tomorrow. But obviously all of the positions are open. So the EA is going to be managing the position trades for me. So obviously we'll just be scaling in or getting out of any of these that come into fruition. But tomorrow afternoon, we've got the news at 1:30 on the CPI for the US. So we will get some movement, hopefully tomorrow afternoon. If it comes out as forecast, we might just get that though. So we'll see. So I'm back on Friday. So before I come back, Friday is a bank holiday in Japan. On Japanese bank holidays, we have lower liquidity during Asia. And quite often we get a run on the yen during the London and the New York session because they're not there to defend themselves. So we might get some fairly decent yen movement on Friday. And obviously, depending on what happens with the unemployment claims and the CPI on Thursday, we might get the market start a move. So tomorrow afternoon is your first market moving event this week. We got the GDP before I come on air at 8 o'clock on Friday. So that was released at 7, an hour before we come on. And then we've got the PPI figures. So it's all inflation based for the US this week. And that's Friday afternoon as well, an hour. So both of these are an hour before New York Open. So for the New York Open tomorrow afternoon, if we've had ADR hits on the indices because of these CPI figures, be aware that you're not going to get a lot of volume coming through at the Open. If it hasn't moved much before that, obviously the Open will probably be fairly normal and you get a decent breakout. So wait and see what happens. But yeah, tomorrow's the first real potential moving day we've got. So Friday, I'll go through all the FX pairs again. Same as Monday, and obviously what I did this morning in the London session. So just going to go through all the FX pairs, have a look at everything, see how everything's going, and just see if there's any opportunities out there to try and extract cash somehow. But other than that, you've got to basically stick to the M5 charts if you want to make decent moves intraday, and obviously M5 is incredibly choppy, so hard work. You're better off just taking it on the chin and going, not going to be much. Like I said, last August, I did 15% last August. We looked at it in the live room, didn't we, what we did last year. So the last August was actually a good month. So there's still hope. We're only halfway through. We're not even halfway through yet. So there is still hope we're going to get some movement, but it is certainly grinding to a halt, which is the norm. So, okay, so I'll be in the Telegram group. If you need anything, come in there. So I'll be around in the Telegram. I won't be around at all tomorrow because I'm going off with the kids and we're off doing stuff tomorrow. But I will be around tomorrow evening and first thing tomorrow morning, and I'll be there today. And obviously then back on Friday, we'll have a look at the markets on Friday and see if we can figure out some new entries and see what's happened. But other than that, if you're using the ORBEA, just be careful of the market tomorrow afternoon with the news. And I will see you guys on Friday. Okay, so have a good one, and I will see you then.